let's get this party started, I guess. Hi, I'm Liz with the Poppy Library, and this is KnitCast. Hello, everyone. Happy 2025. Here we are. I have been knitting up a storm this past year, and lots of projects, lots of life changes, lots of things have been going on, and I thought it was time to get back on YouTube and talk to some peeps and rejoin this community. I've missed it a lot. Like I've said, I've been very busy. I've switched jobs last year and more responsibilities, more adulting things have taken away a lot of my free time, but I feel like I'm starting to finally get into the swing of things, which is a very interesting time in my life, to feel like I'm in the swing of things, to be honest. And knitting has been really just a very nice, calm break from it all. I've been able to just use it as a source of meditation for myself and use it in my little, I guess, quiet moments of the day. And yeah, lots of changes. As you can see, this is my new version of my studio. I guess with any life change comes a room change. And so I painted in here, added some shelves, added some decor items, just really trying to make this an inspirational space for myself. There's a treadmill in here that I hardly use, but goal is to use it more. And yeah, I feel very back into the flow of things, which is really great. Let's talk about what I've been knitting. Over the past year, one of my most fun, proud knits that I've knitted is actually this. This is the Knitting for Olive. Oh, sorry. This is the yarn I use is Knitting for Olive. And I feel like I should get that color. Let me see if I can. Unprepared. This is the Luna Tea. Pull out my rabbit. If you guys don't have rabbit, you should. It's the best. Okay, so this is the Luna Tea by, I believe it's Charissa. I want to say Charissa. It could be Charissa. Apologies. I think it's Charissa, but it's spelled with a CH. So Charissa, and this is the Luna Tea. So I made obviously a modification. I made it a 3/4 sleeve, and this is the original. You can see that with my glare. It's absolutely stunning. When I was researching this, I was looking for something a little bit more form-fitting, but would also be, okay with all kinds of body types. My body weight likes to fluctuate through the day, so maybe I need something a little bit looser. Maybe it needs to just be a little more tighter in some areas. So I thought when I was looking through the projects that it fits all different kinds of body shapes, and yeah, I was overall pleased with how everything went with it. Let's see, it looks like it goes all the way up to a bust size of 61.2 inches. So kind of size inclusive, not really. But I did see a note from the designer that if you are knitting in a size 9+, to just message her and she would be happy to give you further instructions based on that. So I thought that was great. And yeah, I thought this was a really enjoyable knit. I did learn a lot. With every knit, I try to learn a little something. And I believe this was a provisional cast on. I've done them before. And I think I casted this on maybe 4 times until I finally got it right. And then when I got it right, I actually did the collar. I knitted a little wonky, but you can't really tell. I just did a knit to purl 2 And it was outside of the actual repeat pattern, but that's okay because who cares? But I really like it. It's, I'll put a picture, but it's really form-fitting up here. I like how it frames my face. I love the color. This is knit for in Knitting for Olive, Cotton Merino, in Dark Cognac. And this is the yarn. And it's really, really pretty. I haven't knit in a brown color before. Shockingly, I don't have a lot of brown in my knitting wardrobe, and I wanted something a little more neutral to fit more with work clothes. And so I could dress this up. I could just put jeans on. It could be casual. It could be dress up. So it's very versatile. The Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino choice was really just due to my climate where I'm at. It could be really hot in the summer. I feel like I could probably wear this into late spring, early summer. It's also really nice to wear this indoors when it's cold outside. With like, I can wear this at work and it's like the work heater's on and I can feel pretty comfortable. So it's really, really great. I've really enjoyed it. I've gotten a lot of wear from it. I haven't seen a lot of pilling. Kind of see one right here. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cough. It's starting to stretch out a little bit, but those are really my only notes. It's really, really good yarn. And I'm really excited that my new yarn store, Knit ATX, so happy for them. They carry Knitting for Olive here in Austin. So if you're in the Austin area and you're looking for Knitting for Olive, go over to Knit ATX. It's awesome. I know the Stated Sheep has it in Dripping Springs, but that's quite a drive if you are in the Austin area. So Knit ATX down south is perfect. Kaiwen is the owner. My mind is blanking on the other owner's name. But they're all just so very welcoming. I really, really love that knit shop. I've actually made knitting friends like in real life there, which is great. And hi Sydney. And the social media manager behind it, ATX, is one of my friends, which is great. And we've actually gone out and knit in public, which is, it's like you're taking your friendship to the next level. And I believe it's Taylor who's also there. I've met a lot of really great knitters there. Apologies that my mind is blanking right now. I'm just getting over a cold, so it's hard for me to remember names. I should have wrote this down. But everyone has welcomed me with like open arms, and I've just like sat around the table and knit all summer with them. And they moved to a brick and mortar place down south. So Knit ATX, if you're in Austin, definitely go there. They're awesome. I love them. They're the best. Okay, so a few other, I knit a whole bunch of projects. A lot of them I've given as gifts, but there are a few that I wanted to note that were pretty great that I don't have with me, so I should go get them. I'll be right back. I'm so unprepared. I should have had all this stuff ready. Okay, I decided that we are going to just talk about my knits that I knit in 2024 throughout the winter, because that'll make this episode really long. But one knit that I finished in 2024 that I do want to talk about because it took forever was the Half and Half Triangles Wrap Shawl by Purl Soho, knit with Linen Quill, which is a really great yarn. So it's this one right here, and I chose, I'll put the colors up in just a second, or in the notes so you can see them, but I've been wearing this a lot. It is so warm. It is so flattering, and it's so comfortable, and it's so cozy. It did take me forever to knit, and let me show you why. I remember knitting this thinking like, this is taking forever. It's because I knit a literal blanket. Like, I can't even fit it in the screen. It was a blanket. It's a blanket. It covers the chair. You know, I'm just gonna let it cover the chair. Isn't that pretty though? Ugh, it's stupid pretty. I love this thing. It could be a blanket. It could be a scarf. It could be on a shawl. I use it every day, pretty much, or I take it with me to work. And it's the coziest thing ever, and it's so warm. And you wouldn't think because it's linen quill, but it is. And linen quill is... I love linen quill so much that I got it twice. So linen quill is 50% fine Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. And it's just divine. I love the kind of texture it gives. Like, this is, what color is this? Kettle black. And you can see the linen in it. It's just, it's so nice. It's really soft, has a little bit of structure to it, meaning like it's a little, it's not rough on the hands, but like it feels substantial. I don't know if that's the right word. It just feels good. It feels like, I mean, you're not knitting something so soft that it's going to fall apart. It feels structured. And I love the texture that it has with all the stitches, especially with the variegation and with the linen. And I can see some of the alpaca in there. And it's just great to knit with your hands. Like, it just flows in and out of the hand really nicely. So I love that yarn. 10 out of 10. Would definitely want to knit this again one day, the half and half triangles wrap. It just took forever. So I think it's just going to be a side project. And maybe I'll do the small version because the large version, I think that took like 3 months. And I'm a pretty fast knitter, and it took me about 3 months of just knit stitch. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that was a little nuts. Over the year, I've had a lot of yarn that I've acquired, so we won't go through it all. I love to collect yarn. That is why I work so hard and I have a really great job. I use all of my funds that I save pretty much for yarn. Have an unhealthy obsession with it, but I love it. Unhealthy in the sense that I should probably use some of it first, but I love to collect. It's definitely a great hobby. Knitting is my favorite hobby. So, there's no excuse really needed, for my obsession. This is just myself talking myself through it. But anyway, I have a few favorites from this past year that I would like to just talk about and have you get to know as well. I love sharing a good product, especially one that I've tested myself, and then I go back and I get some more of that same product. Example, linen quill. This one, the reason why I love linen quill so much and I would recommend it in any color is because one, value is really great. It's not, it's pricey, but it's not that expensive compared to other yarns. And the colors are consistent. You can buy it online. They ship it very easily, meaning it gets there fast, and it's just a great yarn. It's just a great yarn. So one of the acquisitions that I started working with again this year was the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. It's one of my absolute favorite yarns because of my climate that I'm in. I can knit a tee, feel very comfortable in it. I love working with the yarn. When you're working with the cotton merino, it's not as stretchy as working with a wool. You get kind of like a bounce when you're knitting with it. Here, let's see. I have some spin cycle here as an example. When you're knitting with the yarn, specifically wool, there's this kind of like bouncy stretch that happens with. You see, it's kind of like, I can tug at this and I can feel the stretch within the yarn. With cotton merino, you don't really get that. It's a little bit resistance. There's a lot of resistance. It's not as bouncy, but it's really soft and it flows through the hand really nicely. So if you're a continental knitter, it's really, really great yarn. Even if you're throwing, it's really great yarn, but just know that it's not as stretchy when you're knitting it, so you will feel resistance. However, the end products are great, and if you're in a hot climate, I would highly recommend. So I want to knit this again, or I want to knit another Knitting for Olive pattern with it that I'm a little nervous about because I am curvy. So we'll see. Negative ease really scares me on patterns. Truly just terrifies me because, again, my weight fluctuates and I'm petite, so I'm small in some places and I'm large in other places, and I'm Latina, so it's like, yes, I'm a great shape, but at the same time, making knitted clothes for myself can be a challenge. It can make me look very large and baggy, or it could be too tight. So negative ease kind of scares me, and I tend to, knit more baggy things. But it's 2025. I should be proud of my body. And knit whatever the fuck I want. So anyway, but I either want to do this again or knit a completely different Knitting for Olive pattern, which I'll share at the end in my favorite patterns that I want to knit moving forward. And this one is Lime Yellow. Lime Yellow. I love bright colors, and I think this would be great for the spring. It would be fun in my wardrobe. It would be great with a pair of jeans or some brown pants. Could be good with work clothes. Again, I'm trying to wear something with my work clothes and outdoor clothes, even though I don't really go out. I don't know. Anyway, who goes out these days? I stay inside. We could talk about that more, but I'm not going to. Okay. Do you like my yarn basket? What next? There are two projects. Let's talk about what I'm knitting now. We shared some yarn. Oh, is there another yarn that I wanted to share? Shit. Another thing that has taken me by storm this year is knitting with Suri alpaca. Mohair is great. I love mohair. Don't get me wrong. It has irritated my skin just a bit. I have this beautiful orange ranunculus that I love so much. So much. But I wore it one day. I wore it in Rhinebeck and it rained. And something happened with the fiber that after that, it hurts when I wear it. And I don't like that. So I'm going to have to knit another one, but in Suri alpaca. Again, an orange would be great. But it kicked off this whole new obsession of Suri alpaca. I first got my first Suri alpaca with Explorer Knits in the Pepperocini colorway. And I have a Manhattan hat in it, which is my favorite hat in the entire world. I should go get it. Again, okay. So this was Explorer Knits, Pepperocini, and this is the Manhattan hat that I finished last year. I made two, one with the brim and one without, and it's my favorite hat. It is so stupid soft. I also knit it with another one of their DK bases. It was a recommendation from the actual yarn dyers when I visited them at one of the festivals that we won't talk about from 2 years ago. And it's the best. It is so warm, so stupid soft. I absolutely love it. I keep saying, ugh. I love it so much. It is so cute. Sometimes with the Manhattan hat, you gotta loosen up that bind off, or you get this little dip. Anyway, it is so soft. It is the greatest hat ever. So that kicked off my Suri alpaca adventure of 2024. So much so that I have so much Suri alpaca. I'm not upset about it. It is the softest thing. I plan on knitting my mom a hat with this. Actually, I already did. I knit her a little brioche hat, which is not going to be featured because it's a gift. Again, a lot of things are missing. And then I went on to Moondrake's Fua Fua, which is so luxurious. I think there's cashmere in her Fua Fua. And I got some of that. And then this one. This is Ching fiber. I mean, it is so soft, so gorgeous. I knit a hat with this that one of my coworkers has now. And then this is that Fua Fua base, which is so beautiful. And then I went over to Wool and Vine and I got that Suri alpaca base, which is a little different. I really love these greens. And now that kind of goes into like what I'm knitting these days. And I'm currently working on Northern Augustine's number 4 sweater. And I've Sophie, let's see, her name is Sophie. Her name is Sophie. I do know that. No, it's not. Her name is Anne-Sophie Velling. And she has the most romantic looking patterns. I mean, they look straight out of like a novel, like a romance novel, a historic romance novel. They're just so beautiful. I've always admired them. And I saw Northern Augustin's number 4 sweater. And there's just something about that was so cute. And currently at work, we're dealing with a lot of bows. And I work in the events industry, if you don't know this. And bows are in, or they're on their way out, or whatever. But I've seen them a lot. So this could be part of it. But I really, really love that. So that is the pattern. You probably saw my camera there. And I wanted to go a little different with this. Again, my climate, I usually knit fingering weight. And so I don't really have a lot of DK. Like if you were to turn and look at my yarn stash, it is just nothing but fingering weight, lace weight, and maybe some sport weight. But the fingering weight has like overtaken the sport weight section. And then there's this tiny section of like DK and up. And it's like this big. And it's because it just doesn't get as cold. So fingering weight is just so versatile here. So I had 2 of these in my collection. And this is the Felix base of La Bien Aimee. And the colorway. Okay. Again, so unprepared. Okay, so this is the Felix base in the Helidore colorway. The Felix base in La Bien Aimee is 75% Falkland Merino, 25% Cordell. Excuse me. So, this is a very thin yarn. It's very much lace weight. And I had 2 in my stash / collection. And I did a test with them to see if I could get gauge, and I really needed a 3rd strand. I've never knit with more than just 2 strands of yarn before, so I was very interested to see, one, if you could see that I'm using 3 threads of yarn in 1 stitch and how it would look, or if it looked really strange. And it doesn't, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It is so soft to knit with. And there's a lot of yardage in each of the balls. So it's like 710 yards, 650 meters, which is crazy. I don't really go by grams when I'm reading patterns, like how heavy the sweater is. I guess you kind of should, since it affects draping and everything like that. But it's such a very lightweight knit, and it holds like its shape, and it's supposed to be very like voluptuous. So I decided to go a little different with the colors, and this is what it looks like. I have this really crazy green kick that's going right now. I really love, chartreuse, like a yellow green, this green, any kind of green. Green is my favorite color, but this Helidore actually had speckles of this color green in it. Very minimal though. And I took a color class with Stephen West a very long time ago, where he gave out tips and tricks of like how to choose your colors. And when you're pairing something that's like a variegated yarn, which is something, or a yarn that is speckled, like this is a speckled yarn. You can see there's lots of little speckles. Find a color within those speckles to be the contrast color, which I did. And then I thought, now it could do 2 things. The green couldn't show, or it could be great. And it turned out really great. So I am on the body now, and it's knitting up really fast. I think I started this like 2 weeks ago, and I've been knitting on and off during the work day. It feels like butter. I'm on the body, and then I will go to the sleeves, and I think I kind of want to do like a billow sleeve. And it's just the best. It's just making me so happy. And again, since it's a thicker yarn, it's just so fast to knit. I think that's one thing about knitting with fingering weight yarn is that it takes forever, or it can feel like it takes forever, especially when you're like in the long knitted sections like the body or the sleeves. Like you can knit and knit and knit and maybe get like an inch progress, but with thicker yarn like this DK kind of weight yarn, it's just like no time at all. 2 weeks and I like almost have a sweater. That's crazy. Luckily I have noticed that it's been a little bit colder the next couple of months. It will be a little bit colder the next couple of months is what I mean. And so I guess this is great timing. I also have a work event that this will probably be really good for. I'm so happy. Look at it. I know. It's so good. It's just so sweet. It's just so sweet. So cute. Let me share what the green yarn is, which I don't know if I have. I'll share what the contrast color is in the description. My other project that I am knitting right now is the Spring Sorrel by Wool and Pine Designs. And I've knit this before in a... trying to think the name of the yarn. I've knit this before in blue, essentially, and it's a little small now. Your girl has grown in many places. And I needed to knit another one. I love it. It's very flattering. I love the pattern so much. It is a negative ease pattern that works really well with different kinds of shapes and sizes and curves, and I just love it. So I wanted to knit another one. And since February is coming up and I have a kind of like this event where it could be a good fit for me to wear, I decided that it was time to knit another one. So this is what it looks like right now. I haven't done too much work on it because I've been knitting my Northern Augustin sweater. So it's in Bien Aimee's Felix as well. And I think this is like electric pink. I've had this in my collection for a very long time. I think I bought it maybe 2021. Very long time ago. It feels like, and it's just been sitting there, and I finally figured out, oh, you can, you hold 2 strands together, Liz, and it can make a fingering weight yarn, and you will love it, and I sure do. It's very, very soft. This Felix base is amazing. I would recommend it to anybody. Last thing I want to share, in terms of things that I've acquired in this past year, is this bag, which I'm sure everyone has seen. It's the redesign bag. Now, there is kind of like not a dupe, but a cheaper version on Amazon, which I noticed. But this one is a leather version, and I really love this bag. It sits open like this at all times. I've knit maybe about 4 or 5 projects out of it. It is the best bag I've ever had. So now that my contrast color is done, I will take this out and just put the sweater on the other side. And it fits. It fits the whole thing. You can put needles in this section right here. If you so choose, there's a center pocket like so, and I have like my gauge ruler, I have a crochet hook and an extra pair of scissors, and then there's pockets on one side, and I hold a few stitch markers in there. This little guy that has been with me my whole like knitting journey, stitch markers, all of that. It fits things wonderfully. I usually just keep a sweater in this. I'm sure you could have multiple sock projects. Oh, look at that. My husband got sourdough. On this. Or maybe I did when I put it next to him making sourdough yesterday. Sourdough. If you ever make it, it's on everything. It's literally on everything in the kitchen. The bag is fine. It's leather. See, that's why I have to have something that lasts or it'll get destroyed by my house. One of my favorite bags. I love knitting with it. It's the greatest. So let's talk about upcoming projects that I'm thinking about. And I say thinking about because I change my mind all the time. Change my mind all the time. A few things that are in my favorites right now. Colorwork Cuff Club. I am behind on my socks. That is a Summerly Knits knit group where you pay a certain amount and you get like a new colorwork pattern for her socks every month. And I'm a little behind. I did the Halloween socks. I need to work on my skills with doing color work on socks. Last one, it didn't fit over my big heel, so oops. Augustin's number 4, not Northern, but Augustin's or Augustine's, apologies if I'm saying any of that wrong. Number 4 is also on my list. It's like a vest with a little peplin top, you know, a little frill. And the reason why I want to knit this one, this is again by Anne-Sophie Velling, is because I saw this, where somebody just wore it over like a white shirt. I was like, I could do that. I want to knit in black. That would be so nice. It'd be like a nice dress up top. It was this one. This picture really set me off. I was like, oh, wouldn't that be a great work outfit? It would be a great work outfit. And the next one that I was thinking about, oh, so many. So many. Kind of want to go for a vest. And Mika by, who's this by? Gosh, it doesn't say who it's by. Esti Huango. It's a pattern called Mika. It's a vest. And I just thought it looked so lovely. Now, did it grab my attention because it's in this like green color? Probably. But I really want to knit that. So that's also on my list coming up. Now, this knit could go 2 ways. It could be really great, or it could be very intrusive. And you'll see why. Depending on the location of the second bloom. But something about this caught my eye. And this sweater, this is Bloem, Bloem. And the designer is Natasha Hornby. And it looks like this. You see what I'm saying? Like, depending on those 2 blooms near the bust, it could be a great knit for me, or it could be a disastrous. I still want to do it. It looks so nice. Just got to make sure I get gauge, I guess is the right thing to say. Oh, and I do want to knit some animals this upcoming year. I got a lot of knitting books that I'm excited to share with you, from coworkers, from family members, just knitting things that, lots of projects that could come from it. I'm just giving myself some patience this year and allowing just myself to knit whatever I want. So I think that's all. I think that's all for now. So thank you for tuning in to my little knitting rant. Again, this is a KnitCast. My name is Liz. Thanks for joining. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.